Here is my next video, which I wanted to bring up the topic of stimming, at least briefly. I thought about it a little bit, but I wanted to for the most part, wing it, just to allow people to be able to see the thought process and how it works for me, how it can be sporadic and random. Stimming was something I recently discovered, is at least the name of it and what it meant, only recently, but I've actually been doing it almost as long as I can remember now that I know what it is. To different people it might have slightly different meanings. For me, stimming means any act or anything that occupies one or several or all of the senses, thus allowing the mind to be calm and it to be possible to focus on one particular sense. For example, if I'm listening to someone talk, I might not be able to look them in the eye because I get distracted by certain details. So if I focus on something like a boring part of the bed or table or floor where nothing's happening, nothing's changing, there's nothing for me to think about in that one little spot. So because my eyes are not stimulated or occupied as far as my mental process, that allows for my other senses to focus and take up that energy or space. And so for me, that's just one example, although the most noticeable form of stimming would be, physical or verbal, and it's just something that helps. It almost, at least for me, it feels like a form of venting. It's like there's so much stuff going on up here that you have no idea how to express it, or maybe it's not expressible through any means that we're aware of. And so by humming or finding certain words to say, or tapping, or moving something, or cracking knuckles, or tapping, or snapping, or hand flapping, it occupies the mind, and it's a way of getting that out, because often we don't know how to express all that's going on in our heads. And so for me, I mentioned the looking at something when I'm trying to listen to someone talk. When I go to the movies, I need to have food with me, because otherwise I'll play with or tear up my ticket, or I'll do something else, because I want to be completely engaged in this movie I'm watching. And so the only sense that really isn't necessary, at least at the moment, for a movie is sense of touch. So as long as I have that occupied with food or something, then the rest of my senses will pick up on it, on the movie that I'm trying to focus on. And so there's that. I've discovered this at work. Let me put you down a second. At work, which is in fast food, in between orders, I'm sitting there with my gloves and I keep my hands like this for several reasons. One, it's a calming kind of focus, but also it just keeps my hands occupied, because if I don't have something to focus on or to direct my attention on physically, I will get bored or frustrated or whatever it might be. And so it helps just it passes the time that otherwise would be spent inside myself, being frustrated or bored or not sure what to do. And so that's what that is for me. I'm trying to think if there's any others. I'm sure I'm easily getting caught up in myself as we speak, and hard to focus some more, but someone had asked for one of the topics to be on stimming, and so that it is something that I feel is very important, and I know there are plenty of people, and I'm sure at some point I've had it done to me, where I might have been rocking or tapping or humming, and someone would have told me to stop because it might have been annoying to them, and then they wonder why I have trouble focusing when they're talking to me, because their definition of listening to them and understanding is don't move, don't talk, eyes at me, that's listening. When it's not, that's not listening for me. That's me looking at your face, noticing every detail, hearing every sound, taking in the whole environment, and I'm basically kind of becoming overstimulated by being told to focus on this one thing. So by telling me to focus in on just you, I will do that. All of my senses, all my energy will be focused in on you, and it'll become overwhelming, and you're asking me to pick out little details when there's the equivalent of a concert speaker right in my face. And so that's what it can feel like for me. And so yeah, I'm looking to do other videos soon, and other topics that I've been asked so far were on relationships in regards to autism spectrum and Aspergers, which is I definitely want to spend time over that because it's very important to me. I've had my own difficulties and recent changes and developments that I'm happy about, and I want to share them with you. And then I was asked about conditions, such conditions, and like passing them on, to children, or any concerns like that. And I've had concerns about whether they're, regardless of whether or not it's how much possible it is or isn't or whatever. It's just something that came to mind because I can't help but think about everything when it comes to my condition. And so, yeah, I thank you. I welcome you to comment and give me more topics, because I'd like to continue doing this for those who want to share. I also welcome you to reblog and comment some of your stims, because who knows, you might have a tool that I didn't think of that might actually help me out. Because like I usually have sometimes I'll have jewelry. I haven't had jewelry of any kind in a while, but like a wristband or a watch or a necklace or a ring, something would usually help occupy my time as well. It's something to get me to focus on while I'm trying to just not get all caught up in myself. That's the other thing of stimming, is just having something physical attached to myself that I can just spend time focusing on. So yeah, that's it. And I thank you, and please give input, and yeah, thank you again.